when I'm doing TV and I got 18, god damn it, can't everybody stop for 10 minutes? I mean, everybody seems that's the only, everybody can we stick, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's not that much to ask. Is that when everybody has to move when I'm trying to concentrate?
Hey, somebody has run out on the field. Some goofball in a hat and a red shirt. Now he takes off the shirt. He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. He's bare-chested and banging his chest. Now he runs the opposite way. He runs at the 50. He runs at the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. The 20. They're chasing him. They're not going to get him. Waving his arms, bare-chested. Somebody stop
Look
that
out,
man.
here comes the blue coat,
Oh,
Kevin.
they got him.
Here
They're
comes the
coming
blue
from the
coats.
left. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
I'm sorry to explode like that, but it's like no one's ever worked on TV here before.
That was the most exciting thing to happen tonight.
Welcome to the ENFLP, the Egyptian NFL podcast. My name is Muzzy, and Abdo's on holiday, so I will be doing this episode by myself. This is our Week 17 prediction preview episode. Oh no, one more game left for each of these teams before the playoffs. A lot of teams are going to be saying bye-bye to their Super Bowl hopes, their playoff hopes. Some teams have already said bye-bye. A few teams are going to still be fighting for a spot in the playoff. We got a couple of games that are going to feel like playoff games this week. We will get to that straight away. I am looking forward to a few games this week. Not a lot of games, because there are a lot of games right now that are kind of meaningless, with a lot of division opponents facing each other that are out of the playoffs. But there's going to be hidden gems here and there in Week 17. Playoffs is 1 week away. So, let's start off with the playoff picture as it is. If you look right now as it is, we got the Dallas Cowboys there. We got the Atlanta Falcons, the Detroit Lions, the Seattle Seahawks, the Green Bay Packers, and the New York Giants on the NFC side. Now on the AFC side, we got the Patriots, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Steelers, the Texans, and the Chiefs. Now, these teams, only the Lions and the Packers in the NFC are fighting still for a playoff spot. They are going to battle it out with the Oh, did I almost say their name? I almost said their name. They're going to be battling it out with the Washington team. The Washington team need to win their game to guarantee themselves a spot in the playoff. They're going to play against the New York Giants, who have guaranteed the spot. Seattle Seahawks are guaranteed the spot. The Falcons are guaranteed the spot, and the Cowboys are guaranteed the spot. Now, Detroit Lions and the Packers, they are both needing to win that game, and we will get to that game in a little bit. Now, if we move to the AFC side, the Patriots have guaranteed their spot, the Raiders have guaranteed their spot, the Steelers have guaranteed their spot, the Dolphins have, the Texans have, and the Chiefs have. There's really nothing to fight for in the AFC standing except placing. And the only placing competition that there's going to be is between the Raiders and the Chiefs. Are the Raiders going to have that bye week, or are the Chiefs going to have that bye week? But other than that, all of those teams are already set in stone. So you see what I mean? Not a lot of excitement, but there's still going to be hidden gems. A lot of small fights happening in these games because they're division games, and a lot of pride is out there still. Alright, let's get started with the first game. If you look at this playoff picture, you will see the Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals on the top left corner. Now, both of these teams are out. The Ravens had an unlucky fortune of losing to the Steelers. And what a game that was between the Ravens and the Steelers last week, with Antonio Brown reaching in the end zone in the last 15 seconds to guarantee the Steelers a division spot. Congratulations to the Steelers. They won their division. Now the Ravens are going to look back to that game and want to fight and want to end the season on a high, even though they missed the playoffs with a really good defense. So that's kind of odd. They're going to have to be looking at their offense, see what they could be doing better next year. Now, this is Steve Smith's last game of his career, most likely. And just because of that, I think the Ravens are going to target him a lot, and I think the Ravens are going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, but it will change nothing in the playoff picture. Now, let's move on to the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. Whoa, the Titans and the Texans. This could have been a final right now. This could have been a final if the Titans hadn't lost last week. They unfortunately lost Marcus Mariota last week and lost the game to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What a bummer that was for all of us who were rooting for the Titans to win that game, mostly because we wanted to see a Texans and Titans final this week. The Texans have already guaranteed their spot in the playoff. I think they need to rest. I'm sure they're going to rest their players at one point of the game, and I think the Titans are going to run all over the Texans with a bit of pride for them. Now, let's move on to the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow, this game doesn't really mean much. Cam Newton and the Panthers have been very weak all season round. I think a loss this game will kind of be a metaphor for their season. The Bucks look like a stronger team this year, and they're playing at home. So I'm gonna pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This won't matter anyway in the playoff picture. So whatever. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. The Jaguars coming last week, beating the Titans. Now they face a healthy Andrew Luck, a healthy Colts team. This is going to be a very close game, I think, especially with Doug Marrone for the Jacksonville Jaguars auditioning for the head coaching job. He had a great game last week against the Titans. But I think the Colts are going to win this one. I think Andrew Luck is going to end on a high for his team. Won't matter anyway. Now let's move on to the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. The New England Patriots need to guarantee the first seed. They've already guaranteed a bye. If the Raiders win their game and the Patriots lose, that's going to be very odd for the Patriots. But I don't think that's going to happen. They're playing the Miami Dolphins, and I think the Patriots will beat the Miami Dolphins in this game. I just don't see past Tom Brady and LeGarrette Blount right now. I think they're going to run all over Miami. And I think Martellus Bennett, also for the New England Patriots, is going to have a massive game. Let's move on to the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are out of the playoffs after losing last week. That looked like they were going to be out anyway. I just want to congratulate Abdo for sticking tight on the hatred on the Minnesota Vikings and predicting that they won't make the playoffs, even with the hot start they had. But I think they will beat the Chicago Bears. Matt Barkley, the Bears quarterback last week, threw 5 interceptions. And now you're going to face the Vikings defense. That's going to be a rough game for him. Now let's move on to the next game. The Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. What is going on in Buffalo? Rex Ryan got fired this week. Oh, my Rex Ryan hate was justified, and Rex Ryan got fired out of Buffalo. And now Tyrod Taylor won't start the next game. What? What is Buffalo doing? Why will they not start Tyrod Taylor next week game? They're trying to test out EJ Manuel, their backup quarterback. I don't know what's going on with Buffalo right now. You've seen what EJ Manuel can do for the past 2 years now. What do you think one game is going to change your idea of him? You're not playing Tyrod Taylor for business decisions. What kind of business decision that is, I don't quite understand. But I'm going to pick the Buffalo Bills right now purely for their running game. I think they're going to run all over the Jets, even though the Jets have been a pretty good rushing defense this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills have a few tricks under their sleeve with a new interim head coach and they win this game. Let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. This is my surprise pick of the week, even though it might not be a surprise for a lot of people because the Cowboys are going to rest their starters. Ezekiel Elliott isn't going to be playing. Neither is Dak Prescott. I don't see Des Bryant playing. I don't see a lot of defensive stars playing. This game doesn't really mean anything for them because they already guaranteed the first seed. And I think Philadelphia have a lot more to lose if they lose this game. And they have a lot more to earn if they win this game. So for the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to pick that Eagles defense to go up against Tony Romo or Mark Sanchez, whoever the hell the Cowboys want to play. It won't matter. Let's move on to the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Cleveland Browns won their first game of the season. They beat the Chargers last week. Let's give a round of applause to the Cleveland Browns and congratulate them for not having an 0-16 season. Good for them. But you are now facing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, Ben Roethlisberger won't play. Yes, Le'Veon Bell won't play. Yes, Antonio Brown won't play. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing at home. They're playing against a very weak Browns team. I'm going to pick Landry Jones, the backup quarterback of the Steelers, to have a massive game. And the backup running back for the Steelers, Trisson, to have a massive game as well. I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers for this game. Sorry, Browns. One win is enough for you this season. Now, let's move on to the New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, this is a big game. This is a big game because this is one of the most heated rivalry in the NFL. It might not be in the top 3, but it's definitely in the top 5 rivalries in the NFL. These two teams hate each other. As a Saints fan, I know how much I hate the Falcons, and as a Saints fan, I know how much Falcons hate the Saints. Now, if the Falcons win this game, they're guaranteed a 2nd seed. If the Saints manage to prevent the Falcons from sweeping them this season, and the Saints beat the Atlanta Falcons, then the Atlanta Falcons automatically drop to 3rd, which gives the Seattle Seahawks a chance to be 2nd unless they lose as well. But I just don't see the Falcons winning twice against the Saints. The last time the Falcons beat the Saints twice in the season was really rough on New Orleans, and I don't think they'll ever let that happen again. I'm picking Drew Brees. I'm picking the New Orleans Saints. Is that a surprise pick? I don't think so. Who dat? Let's move on to the New York Giants at the Washington team. This is another big playoff implication game. Now, right now I have the Washington team winning this game. Mostly because the Giants have nothing to win or lose in this game. If they win, they're still the same place in the playoffs. If they lose, they're still in the 5th seed. But they're not going to rest their starters. They're going to play to win, which makes me very happy because this gives them a chance to beat the Washington team. Because why would they want the Washington team in the playoffs? These two are divisional teams, and they have a big rivalry. I think this is a chance for the Giants to knock out the Washington team out of the playoffs, and this is the moment to do it. So, I'm going to put the Washington team to win right now just so we can see the playoff picture, okay? But I'm picking the Giants for this game. But let's just see how the playoff picture for the NFC looks like if Washington do end up winning this game. The Arizona Cardinals at the LA Rams. This game means nothing. Jeff Fisher is gone. I am not going to pick the Rams. I'm picking Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald at the Cardinals. Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. Let's just move on, shall we? The Oakland Raiders at the Denver Broncos. Okay. All right, yes. I picked the Broncos. Don't be surprised now. Why did I pick the Broncos? Derek Carr was the soul of that Raiders offense. Matt McGloin is not a bad backup quarterback, and I think he'll do well. But the Denver Broncos need to win this game. This is a respect game for them. Their defense is not going to play poorly this game, and I see their defense absolutely traumatizing Matt McGloin going into the playoffs. If the Raiders lose this game and the morale in the locker room goes down now that Derek Carr is out for the rest of the season with that injured leg, and Matt McGloin feels down after facing the Broncos defense, they don't manage to pick up, that might be the coffin right there for them. But you never know. But I'm picking the Broncos to win this game against the Oakland Raiders. I just picked Simeon over McGloin because Simeon has been playing more than McGloin. And I just see the Broncos defense absolutely destroying McGloin. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The next game, the Kansas City Chiefs at the San Diego Chargers. Now, this is the big thing. The Raiders just lost, okay? I picked the Raiders just to lose. Now I picked the Chiefs to win. The Chiefs to beat the Chargers, who lost last week against the Browns. And the Chiefs are a ridiculously good team. They're not going to lose against the Chiefs, hopefully. You never know, Phillip Rivers might surprise you here and there. But I'm picking the Chiefs for this game. Now, the Chiefs win. They're second now. And the Raiders are 5th seed, automatically. So that's big. Not only did the Raiders lose against the Broncos, not only is their morale down now they have to play again next week. They don't get a week off. Another nail in the coffin. Ouch. Ouch. Now, let's move on to the Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks win this game. The Seahawks win this game. They beat Kaepernick. Kaepernick never plays well against Seattle. He always has average games. Maybe a little bit above average, but he never plays extraordinary. I don't think the Seattle defense will let the 49ers get anywhere. I think they're going to run all over that terrible, terrible rush defense of the 49ers. And the Seattle Seahawks book their place in the 2nd seed and get a week off going into the playoffs. Now, the big game, probably the biggest game of the week, is at the end, which is perfect. Excellent job, NFL. You got the scheduling completely right for this game. The Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions will play the last game, the Monday night game. This is a final. This is a final for their division. Whoever wins this game goes to the playoffs. Now, I'm picking the Packers to win this game. Aaron Rodgers has been on fire. Their run game has been on fire. Their defense have been on fire. Matthew Stafford has worked really hard to get the Lions where they are now. But I don't think they have the quality to match the Packers right now. The Packers win. The Packers get the 4th seed. Now, because the Redskins won against the Giants, they have the 6th seed. But, I just said the R word. Oh, no! Going back. If the Washington team beat the Giants, they are the 6th seed. But like I said before, I really think that the Giants will win that game and knock out the Washington team out of the playoffs. So that would mean, even if the Lions lost this Monday night game, they are the 6th seed. So, even if the Giants beat the Washington team, it doesn't mean that the Packers and Lions game isn't important. Because if the Lions do end up beating the Packers, they become the 3rd seed. And then the Packers become the 6th seed. And Atlanta becomes the 4th seed. So the scheduling for the playoff changes a little bit. You would have the Packers play the Lions at this point next week. And the Giants play the Falcons next week. But I don't think that's going to happen. I really think the Packers will beat the Lions. And you will see them not play against each other 2 weeks in a row. Imagine they play against each other 2 weeks in a row. That is absurd for division opponents or anyone in the NFL to play against each other 2 weeks in a row. And I think the Lions right now, would they rather play the Falcons or would they rather play the Packers in the playoffs? I don't know. But either way, they just have to win. Win in case what happens with Giants. And same goes for the Packers. Would they rather play the Giants at this point or would they rather play the Lions? I don't know, but for them, the most important thing is win. So the Packers and Lions, best game of the week. You cannot miss this game. You got to stay up for this game and watch this game. Well, that makes up our preview in the ENFLP for Week 17 with the playoff picture of what it looks like it's going to be. So in the AFC, the Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs have a week off. They have the byes. The Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks have a week off. In the NFC, they have the bye. So that means the Miami Dolphins play the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Detroit Lions play the Atlanta Falcons. The Oakland Raiders play the Houston Texans. And the New York Giants play the Green Bay Packers. That is going to be an amazing schedule for the playoffs. I'm not going to pick those games yet. We'll get to them next week. And next week me and Abdo will be back together again. And we will pick who is going to be going where in the playoffs and our Super Bowl picks from whatever playoff picture it ends up being. But you saw my playoff picture so far. Will I be right? We will find out next week. Well, that makes up our Week 17 preview. It has been a pleasure. My name is Muzzy, and this has been the ENFLP, the Egyptian NFL podcast. Oh, I want a holiday. Everyone. I can't express to you how much I'm looking forward for a holiday. But nonetheless, I'm so excited for the playoffs. The playoffs will keep my mind going. The playoffs will keep everything focused to me until the Super Bowl. And then after the Super Bowl, I can think holiday. But so far, the ENFLP will not be on holiday. Hopefully, we will see whether or not we will have episodes after the regular season. I think we will have a draft episode. I think we will have a Pro Bowl episode. And I think we should have now and then weekly episodes talking about the history of the NFL. I think that would be fantastic. I will check with Abdo though, and I will be back to tell you what will happen. This has been the ENFLP, the Egyptian NFL podcast. My name is Muzzy. Hello, playoffs.
One more, I got 69 touchdowns. You know what I mean. Only you know what I mean, baby.
Sorry to explode by that, but it's like no one's ever worked on TV here before.
That was the most exciting thing to happen tonight.